Hi everybody, I tell you what, doesn't Arma Reforger get more exciting every day? And it's even more exciting to think that this game is available on PC and console. I know it's only Xbox at the moment, but it'll be coming to PlayStation when we get to version 1.0. And in this video, we're going to be looking at the amazing new T-72A tank mod by the amazing TheSpaceStrider as well. Now remember, these mods, they're always works in progress, so we'll probably see changes to them very, very rapidly, even by the time you watch this video. But what I'm going to do is we're going to have a little go in the tank, and then I'm going to show you the code you'll need to install it on your server. In fact, if you look in the description below the video, I've already copied and pasted that over so that you can just copy and paste that, put it on your server, and the T-72A will be available. What's quite interesting, here's a look at TheSpaceStrider's M1 Abrams as a comparison in terms of size. Really interesting seeing the difference between the profile and size of the American tank and the profile and size of the Soviet Cold War era Russian tank, and also the fact, we've all seen these, haven't we, from footage from the Ukraine war, on both the Russian and the Ukrainian side, and it's going to be fascinating using these in Reforger as well. So at the moment, if you want to get into the tank, there's only 2 seats, I think, and one of them is kind of there just underneath the gun. That's where the driver sits, and then the other one is on the top, which is where the gunner, I guess, or commander sits. So yeah, as with anything, all right, there we go. We just saw it there, didn't we? Get in, driver. So we can get in there, but we don't want to get in as the driver. Let's get in as the gunner first. So go up here, and then we'll look down at this particular hatch here. It could be that in time this one becomes available as well for like a commander position. Because I think they have an autoloader, don't they, Russian tanks? So let's get in as the gunner. Now, if you're in first-person mode, you won't really get to see much at the moment. I'm sure the model will be fleshed out. Now, if we go into third person, obviously you can see that way, and you can raise and lower the tank, raise and lower the gun. But what you really want to do is go into first person, and then right click to aim, and then we get to see the gun sight, and then we have access to the big gun, and which is 125mm. I guess it's probably a smooth bore that's available that can fire different types of shells eventually. I think I've got armor piercing, and then we have the machine gun. So let's fire the main gun. Yep, bit of a delay in the animation there. And then we have the machine gun as well. Over to the main gun. Making short work of these soft-skinned vehicles, definitely. I think I've got there's an Abrams there. I'm not quite sure how the damage will work. What I'll probably have to do is do some more work and do some sort of test videos to see how the damage works, and that will be changing over time. And what you tend to find is over time as well, as the mod will change, and as the vanilla game changes as well, damage model changes and kind of how things work as well. So I tell you what, let's get out of this, and there we go, and let's look down at the driver's hatch and get in as the driver. There we go, and then what we can do is I just tend to go backwards and forwards to get these things to start, or you tend to hold it, don't you? And then here we go, and we're off. If you go first person, unfortunately we can't see anything. Got to go third person, but it's a very nimble tank, I tell you. It really flies across the battlefield. Whoop. Those lights are quite solid, aren't they? Ooh, we get a bit of a tank slapper on there. As we go along, let's head back. Let's park her up next to the Abrams, and then we will look at some code. Look at this. 50 kilometers an hour, going up to 60 kilometers an hour. There is the Abrams and the T-72 next to each other. How cool is that? So amazing work, TheSpaceStrider. Okay, so I'll put a link to TheSpaceStrider's mod in the online workshop. Remember, the online workshop for Arma Reforger, it's really just a reference catalogue. It's not how you actually put the items on your server. Obviously, if you want to just use the mod in your locally when you fire up Reforger, just look for it in the workshop, subscribe to it, activate it, and then you can use it in Game Master. What they've done that's quite nice now is that we now have this copy ability here. So on your server, you'll go to the config file, the config.json, and you'll be interested in this here. That's the mod ID. Now the mod ID there is the same one that is there, so you can just copy it. It doesn't have any dependencies at the moment either, which is cool, so you can just install it. And in the description below this video, I will copy and paste what you see there. So squiggly bracket, mod ID, name, you can put whatever name you want, obviously T-72A, so I know what I'm doing. Version, just 2 inverted commas or 2 quotation marks next to each other, no space in between. If you put a version number in, that forces people to use that particular version number. If there was a reason for to do that. And remember, with the way you put the mods on your server, if you've got more than one mod, the first mod after the first squiggly bracket must have a comma, but and subsequent ones do. But the last one, before you go to the closing square bracket, shouldn't have a comma after it. It should just kind of finish it off that. So you've got kind of open and close, comma because there's going to be another one, open and close, no comma because there's going to be another one, and then the square bracket has the comma. Now, if you're ever having trouble with your Arma Reforger server, especially on Nitrado, for example, remember, at the moment we don't really have persistency on the servers, so there's no real reason to be scared of doing a reinstall. So, let's say the server gets stuck in a restart loop. Don't be afraid to do a force stop when it gives you that option to do so, and then just do a reinstall. And what I'll do as well is I'll put a link in the description below the video to the T-72 mod on the workshop. I'll also put a link to the server config on the official Bohemia Interactive wiki, because this is very useful, because you can read through it, and the more you do these things, the more you understand them. But at the bottom there is a very nice example config that you could always copy and paste if you needed to do so, to make sure you've got the right sort of file. So there we go, TheSpaceStrider's amazing T-72 mod. I can't wait to see what he comes up with next. Well, actually I know, because it's the MLRS rocket launch system, which I'm about to do a video about in a minute. Yeah, have fun with this and Arma Reforger. Ooh, you can feel it rolling along now, can't you? You can see Arma 4 in the distance. We're not quite sure how long it will be, but it's definitely there. It's definitely there. Anyway, that's enough for me. What do you think? Put your questions and comments down below, and of course I'll see you again soon.